You are a carpenter by trade and a house mover.
A quilter and an upholstery man.
And you just feel that you need to create things.
Yeah.
Do you know why you make art?
Because I have to. It keeps me sane. I only feel alive when I'm making things, really. I've always made art. You know, it's like I come from a pretty creative family.
Yeah.
And we were always making things, puppets and different things. You know, the story used to be kind of like, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock, your father's going to be home soon, we got to get dinner together.
Can you describe the first time that you first realized that creating was something you absolutely had to do?
I don't remember the time, but it's like my sisters tell me that as a child I was always over in the corner drawing.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if it's just a big family and that was my safe place, but...
How big was the family?
I'm in the middle of five kids.
Wow. What does being creative mean to you, Darrell?
I don't know.
You just are?
I just am, I guess. I never think about... It's always weird to me when I find people that don't do things. It seems so weird to me that, they wouldn't even try to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I have a niece that's 9 years old and she's like, I can't do art. And it's like, what? Everybody can do art. But there's not that willingness to even try.
Yeah. What's your most important tool as an artist?
My brain, a pencil.
Is there something that you can't live without in your studio?
Music. I'm always listening to music when
What kind of music do you like?
I listen to anything. Well, I used to listen to a lot of REM and the Fleet Foxes, and I was into progressive bluegrass for a while.
Is there artwork here that you're most proud of?
There's a couple pieces in the house that, just because, and I like them because they're sort of different than what I normally do, and it's sort of like a starting point to something else, I think. So.
All right,
I like art that raises more questions and gives you answers, sort of, There's one of them, it started out very symmetrical, but it's asymmetrical. So it's like, it started out where I was folding paper in half and cutting the same shape, sort of almost like snowflake thing. But then after I unfold it, they become different. I always call this my asymmetrically symmetrical piece, or symmetrical asymmetrical piece, where I started where I was folding the paper in half and cutting pieces out and then pasting them down, but then, it's no longer symmetrical because it has all these other things coming off.
How do you know when a piece of work is finished, Darrell?
It tells me.
What does it tell you, Carter?
Well, a lot of it is, for me, it's finding a solution to something, and when I'm working, it's like I'm cutting, I'm arranging things, and then at some point there's nothing else I want to change or arrange or whatever.
And that's it, then it's finished.
Yeah.
Then it's finished. It never really puzzles you, you never really, I know a lot of artists wonder.
Well, people always ask me, what's your favorite piece? And it's usually the one I'm working on now. What's my least favorite piece? The one I'm working on now. Because it's nothing but solving problems and finding solutions. And
Right.
I'll glue some element down to the paper without a real plan, but then I have to find a solution to make it work.
I see.
So, and most of the time, I don't usually have a really strong idea about where I'm going with something. I draw every morning, and so a lot of them are based on drawings that I did, but they're not, that's just a starting point.
Just a start.
Yeah, they could go anywhere. I got into collage because I was working, and it was hard to paint and come back to it. So collage allowed me to rearrange things, think about it for a little bit, come back and sort of edit, like, do I like that, don't I like it?
You could be much
Things
more
around,
flexible
yeah.
with what you were doing.
And so it's something I could work on, walk away from, come back to. And I was doing a lot of quilting for a while, and so the collage kind of took off from there. So usually I paint the paper first, and then I roll ink out on a slab and put the paper face down and draw from the back. And it gives you imperfect lines and...
So that's almost like a print.
Yeah, I come from a print background. I have a BA in art with an emphasis in printmaking. I put myself through college working as a plumber
Where did you go to school, Darrell?
at Chico State.
Uh-huh.
And I went over there to do ceramics, but then I got there and they had this huge print department where nobody was using, and it was a lot of fun. And then they had a couple instructors that were there just for the semester. Some of the long-term staff had gone on sabbatical, so it was a really fun time to be in the print department.
Can you tell us about any teachers that inspired you? Or?
Bob Cummings, do you know him from Willits?
Yeah.
He was a big influence.
Was he one of your teachers?
Yes, he was light drawing.
Do you still do life drawing?
No, I don't. I haven't in a while. I'd like to take it up again. And the other one was Richard Hamilton, who was my high school art teacher, and incredible artist who decided he wanted to be a teacher. And when he was in college, they said, "Well, are you going to be a teacher or are you going to be an artist? You really can't be both."
Yes, you can.
Well,
Yeah.
at the time, that's what they told him.
Uh-huh.
So, he was an incredible teacher.
What kind of creative patterns, routines, or rituals do you have in your studio?
Well, I draw every morning for at least 20 minutes, and they're just quick little sketches. I try not to think too much about them. It's just kind of stream of conscious off the top of my brain, and
That's a good part of a pattern anyway.
And the other, well, it's not really a ritual, but I usually start out with, I'm going to work with these two colors, but that's just a starting point. Those two colors might not be in the finished piece at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I like setting limits because it forces you to go a certain direction or whatever.
Right. Which creative medium would you love to pursue but haven't yet?
Weaving and welding.
Weaving and welding?
Yeah. The other day I was at Beverly's Fabrics, and they had what I thought was backing for needlepoint.
Uh-huh.
And so I took it up to the counter and I said, "I'd like a yard of this." And the woman said, "Oh, so you're making rugs?" And it's like, I guess I am. And so the next day I went to the thrift store and they had bags and bags of yarn that was cut to length to make rugs. So I'm making rugs now.
Are you making rugs? That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
The other thing I'd like to try is fabric. I'd love to design some fabrics.
What's the best advice you've ever had about how to be more creative?
Don't think about it too much. Just go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
It's weird when I'm working in the studio. I'll get into a zone and 3 hours will go by, and it's like I didn't realize it. It's like, oh my God, it's like my mother. It's 5 o'clock. Your father's going to be home soon.
So, but you make art every day, though.
Yes.
All right, that's great. What are you trying to communicate with your art?
Lately, joy. Just because the latest series are sort of an homage to my parents, who both passed away recently, and they were both gardeners and really involved in gardening. And I had been doing some flower pieces in the past, and I said, I'm not going to do any more flower pieces. I'm done with flowers, and then my mother passed away, and so the flowers came back.
Yeah.
If someone tells you you have enough art supplies and you don't need any more, stop talking to them. You don't need that kind of negative energy in your life.
Isn't that the truth?